Hello, guys. Today we're talking about the very, very interesting case of the Flash movie. This one came out this year. It's rated PG-13. It's 2 hours and 24 minutes long. It has a 6.7 out of 10 on IMDb with 182,000 user votes, and has a 55% on Metacritic with 292 critics. The director of this movie is Andy Muschietti. I can't pronounce it. I'm terrible at it. He also did. He also directed the It movies, the new ones, and it stars Ezra Miller, who was in Perks of Being a Wallflower and a lot of stuff, and Michael Keaton, who was of course in the OG Batman stuff, among lots of others. On Rotten Tomatoes, the movie has 63% from critics with 381 critics and 83% by audiences, about 5,000-ish audience people. Critics' consensus is The Flash is funny, fittingly fast-paced, and overall ranks as one of the best DC movies in recent years. Okay, the audience says The Flash has enough heart, humor, and action, not to mention fun cameos to make up for any drawbacks. Okay. So, this is one of the more interesting movies that's come out in recent years because all the weird shit is the behind the scenes shit between Warner Brothers doing whatever the fuck it's doing with its universe, and this movie kind of falling in the middle. This movie, they've been working on this movie for almost 10 years. Like, I remember when I was in high school when they said, no, not in high school, like college, when they said they were going to be working on a Flash movie. So maybe not 10 years, maybe we're like 5 or 6, but it's been in development hell forever until they finally released this. And to be honest, I kind of like it. I kind of like the movie, and of course, the other issue too was Ezra Miller and whatever the fuck is going on with him. So but I like this movie. It's not perfect, but to be honest, 90% of the negative shit about this movie is the behind the scenes stuff. If you don't pay attention to that shit at all, you'll like this movie fine. So basically, you know what's funny? I've been finding myself not talking about the synopsis of movies as much as I used to, and I think a lot of it is just because it's such something that you would typically be easy to get into, but some movies you kind of almost have to, and I feel like this is one of them, because basically what this movie is about with the Flash is, he's doing his thing or whatever, and he discovers time travel. It's the Flash time travel Flashpoint kind of story a little bit, with some, of course, differences. So the positives of this film, the positives, I think, despite the criticism, I think Ezra Miller, and I always thought of this of Ezra Miller, I think he's an excellent actor, barring outside shit. And it's a shame that there's all this stuff going on, not just Ezra Miller, but Warner Brothers itself, because I think that first Justice League movie, I don't think did that character 100% justice. The Whedon one, the Zack Snyder cut. Did I review the Zack Snyder cut? I'm not sure if I did, but this one is definitely more it feels like the Flash, and it feels like its own world too. Like, it's a shame that we're probably not going to get any follow-ups to this, to be honest. I mean, there might be, but I don't know if they're going to use Miller. And to be honest, I'm kind of surprised they're keeping given the controversy. And it's a shame because I actually like him in this role. I think, like, it's sad that he finally gets stuff rolling with this role, and it's over because of bullshit that he's been doing and what the studio's been doing. But he's so good in this. He's very good in this. In the effects, a lot of people felt very weird about the effects. I don't mind the effects. Now, there's a lot of great effects in this movie. Like, Miller playing another variant of himself is handled beautifully. Like, it's probably the best use of two people interacting on one screen as the same person in eons. It's really well done. Special effects, I actually like this. I don't mind the special effects, and the way they handled time travel I thought was really inventive. I get that it doesn't look super pretty, but I can be forgiving of, like, a little CGI being wonky in a superhero movie, because it is a superhero movie. like the fantastical elements of it are going to look a little weird because they're fantastical. They're supposed to be like that. Um, I loved what they did with Michael Keaton. They really captured the spirit of him for Batman in this, and and it's so weird. Like I watched this and I in theaters, and I will say this: we watched this very late in theaters because it was just me. It was like the three of me and two other people. It was like nobody, and the two people I came with. So it was just really us watching this in theaters, and I have to say, I do like this movie. Like I don't know, there's something about this movie that feels fresh. You know, the plot in itself feels it's kind of fun because you think the plot's going one way, but it goes another way, and it feels very fresh and original. I have to say, and I also have to say that I do like this world they're in, and I like the alternates that they find along the way as they're constructing their, because there's Batman, there's Supergirl, and then there's the alternate Flash, and then this Flash, and it feels very a nice group because it's cool because we never seen Michael Keaton's Batman work with other heroes before, and it's really cool to see. And that this whole movie made me realize, man, I fucking miss Michael Keaton as Batman. I miss that Batman Michael Keaton world. Like I forgot how awesome he was, and it's funny too because apparently the Michael Keaton Batman was supposed to be in the Batgirl movie that never came out. He was supposed to make a cameo on the Aquaman sequel that got scrapped. I mean, he was going to be all over these movies into Flashpoint, and they just decided not to do shit with it. And at first I was like, well, it makes sense. I mean, it was kind of weird that they went with someone that was already old and kind of gone from it, but after seeing this, I'm like, oh man, I kind of wish they stuck with it because it was so cool to see him work again because he has that essence of Batman still. What I love about, I know this is turning into Keaton Batman thing, but what I love about Keaton's Batman is that he doesn't rely on a lot of dialogue to convey what he's feeling. You see it in how he acts and behaves. Like one of my favorite scenes, one of those. My favorite, I think, to me, the highest accomplishment an actor can get is if they can get a scene where you don't know what they're feeling. You kind of know what they're feeling, but you're not quite sure. And there's been two I've seen. One is in A Christmas Carol, George C. Scott's A Christmas Carol, where he played Scrooge. He has one there. And the other one is Michael Keaton, original Batman, where he's laying down the flowers by the theater where his parents were shot. Those two scenes, like you kind of get what they're feeling, but they express it in a way that makes you think, what are they feeling right now? And I love those because because it's such a great, unexplainable kind of abstract feeling that you kind of get, but you kind of don't. It's so, I love those moments, and yeah, I really missed him as Batman, and it's a shame we only got two movies, and I wish they do some more with him. And I feel like it's funny, the whole market team was banking on Michael Keaton Batman. They weren't promoting Ezra Miller's Flash at all. And yeah, but the movie bombed. Like it didn't make a lot of money back, and I feel like that's a shame because the movie's not bad. It's a really solid movie. It's the plot's unpredictable, the effects are interesting. The humor is mostly hit. There's some moments where some people may be like, "What the fuck was that?" But it's mostly hit. Um, and the acting's really solid. The acting's really good. Like I feel like the acting kind of sells it, especially towards the end of it, where you have all the stuff unraveling and stuff. I feel like it really sells. Oh, and the other thing, the cameras. I'm not gonna lie, I could give two shits about those cameos because 90%, like all of them were like at the end, all of them were like CG shit. And I know this is getting to spoiler time. I'm not gonna say who made what cameos necessarily. Well, I could because the movie's been out forever, and if you haven't seen it, you don't want to see it, so it's whatever. But it's all CG shit. There's only one CG one that I liked. There's only one, and I'm not gonna say what it is, but I'll say this: it's really the only one we haven't seen in a movie yet or a show. Everything else we've already seen, and I don't know. My opinion is, if you can't get the live action version, don't bother. I don't want to see CG characters not saying or interacting with anybody. Because here's the thing: if they were seeing and interacting and doing shit, That'd be one thing. But for them to just kind of just float around and not really be doing anything, I don't really care for that shit as much, because then it just feels like you're just trying to like, oh, look at all this, oh, it's all connected to this, and it's just like, no, it's not. Like, its only connection, there has to be a kineticness. There has to be like it actually happening within that sphere. When it's just there, it's not really. It's just whatever, you know. But that, in all honesty, after all that said and done, I think that's my only one real like part of the movie where I'm just like, yeah, whatever. And kind of a slight negative thing is, and granted, it's all kind of condensed and it's not really anything done in a way that feels like they're really milking it, but it is kind of one of those things where I'm just like, eh, you can. It's one of those things like, yeah, I know you can. I know you're trying to make it a big thing because Marvel's doing multiverse and you want to kind of get into that, but I don't know. Even Marvel here, the funny part about it is that Marvel, out of the two, DC is way better at multiverses by a miles. Marvel's basing their whole phase on multiverses, and they're crap at multiverses. They really are. Like that's. I think that's one of the big reasons why people aren't as in Marvel as as anymore in this phase is because they're doing all this multiverse shit, but Marvel's crap on multiverses outside of Spider-Man. Like, Spider-Man's the only character that there's good use in multiverses. All the other characters don't do anything with it. It's kind of weird once you think about it, how kind of misguided it is to introduce that without really exploring it. And they really haven't necessarily, at least not yet, but we're already like halfway through phase 5, halfway through the whole saga, and I feel like we haven't really touched multiverses in a real good way. Sorry, that really that really kind of went off on the edge. But yeah, overall, I do like this movie. It's not perfect. I think what's really good at determining your mileage is how invested you get in the behind the scenes shit. If you're willing to let the behind the scenes shit go, if you're kind of just willing to kind of be accepting of that and just kind of enjoy the movie as is, it's a really solid movie. And I will say this, out of all the DC films released this year, I think this one's my favorite of the group, because we had Shazam, and the one I'm going to talk about after this in a little bit. And all three are solid. You could argue technically the one I'm going to review in a bit later is the best one, but for me, when it comes to just overallness, I kind of pick this one only because it feels kind of fresh. It feels a little inventive. It takes the most risks, and for the most part, they pay off. Not 100%, but good enough where it kind of makes you think, man, this is a very interesting movie. I feel like this movie is going to develop a cult following over time as the behind the scenes shit fades, and to be honest, like, Lord knows when there's going to be another Flash movie. So, I don't know. We'll just have to see how things go with that. But outside of all that, that's going to do it for this specific video here, guys. Thanks for watching. In case you guys want to chat with anyone at the Campy Company, you didn't want to use the YouTube comment section, we do have a couple options. First one is we have a Discord channel. You can find a link to that in the About page / About section of our channel. We also have a community tab on our channel as well. You can access that anywhere at any time. But yeah, guys, thanks for watching. Please subscribe and like the videos, and have a good day.